Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to work on this vintage International Harvester toolbox. First off, it's got some lid repair to do. See if we can straighten that out. I've assembled the dolly and sheet metal hammer. We may have to do a little work on these corners as well. They're a little wrinkled. And then I've got a chunk of it's actually glued together. I think that's alder, not sure, but we're going to cut a new bottom for this out of this on that recently acquired Hitachi scroll saw. Then we'll sand it and treat it with boiled linseed oil, and I believe I've got some vintage nails around here where we can attach it to the bottom of the box. And then we'll take it out and mount it on the pump jack trailer and then throw a few vintage tools in it. So let's get started. So I'll give you a little better close-up of the damage we're going to try and straighten out here. Got a big dent with a crease. Runs from about here to here. We'll flatten that out, then we will straighten the lip. I'm going to try and do a little straightening on the corners as well. Let's see if we can fix this thing. And the noise you're hearing in the background is the good old Porta-Cool, keeping the shop cool. We've got a little dust. Now this isn't really thick gauge metal, so I'm not going to go wailing on it. I'm just going to lightly work it with the hammer and the dolly. See if I can't get this straightened out. So I don't know who committed the sacrilege of getting some John Deere green paint on a vintage International Harvester toolbox. But they did it. It's on the lid. I will carefully scrape that off. I think I'm going to go over this with a Scotch-Brite pad or a light wire wheel, and then probably clear coat it. I just want to preserve the patina. This particular box is probably from the 1920s, I'm thinking. So it wouldn't have been Farmall red, it would have been gray. So that's the plan. Well, I take that back. There is quite a bit of old red paint. I don't know if you can make it out or not. There is red paint in there. This box may have been painted at one time. I don't know. I don't believe that's period correct, though. I'm guessing this thing is about 20 gauge sheet metal. It feels pretty light. Getting there. I'm not a body and fender guy. My sheet metal background is commercial industrial, not automotive. So I would refer you guys to Outlaw Edge, 805 Road King, Fitzy's Fabrications, that kind of thing. Those are the automotive tin benders, although sheet metal is sheet metal. You know how to form it, you know how to form it no matter what application you're using it in. So this is almost straightened out. I've pretty much got this crease out. I flattened out the wrinkles on this flange. There's a bit of a roll here when it was formed originally, but since this got damaged, this roll is a lot more pronounced in the area of the damage. So I'm going to get a piece of square stock, get under there, work that excessive roll out right here, and then maybe get a little, well, this dolly will probably do it. There's a rounded part on my Harbor Freight dolly here that will probably reestablish the proper roll here. It's getting there. It's coming out. I might be able to reestablish that original roll. Getting really close. Now you can probably see there's a bit of a swale here. Of course, this metal was all kinked, so it's stretched. So I've got to shrink it to get that swale out of it. So I'll just keep working on it. Got to be really careful I don't get too close to this logo. I don't want to damage that. And it figures that the bulk of the crank and the damage is right by that logo, so I just gotta take it real easy. I'll probably get a hammer with a little smaller face on it. Got a smaller hammer. I kind of lightly ran the face over the belt sander somewhat and the edges of the square side. I really need to work this hammerhead and get all the divots and markings off of it, because that all transfers to light sheet metal you're working on. But I've got to leave a little character on this, so I'm not too worried about leaving marks, small marks. Just ever so gently. Working that swale out of this lid. All right, I think that is pretty good. That's a lot straighter than it was. There's still a tiny telltale swale in there. But the crinkle on the flange is now straight. The crease is gone. So that's good enough. I've got to do a little work on the main body of the toolbox. It's concaved in here a little bit. I've got to straighten that out. And then this end here, as you can see, maybe it's got a little swale that way. I'll get that all straightened out. Do a little work on these crinkled corners and then bring you back to show you the end result. Well, for a toolbox that's seen close to 100 years of service, it's not in too bad a shape. I'm amazed the logo that's stamped into the lid survived, you know, without being smashed. I'm just straightening out this end flange here a little bit. That looks pretty good. Sorry about the glare in the back. little bit of a swale in the lid where it's going the opposite direction as it should. So I'm just trying to reestablish that convex crown a little bit. I just widened the vice jaws up, set this in here. I'm trying to reestablish, I'm just about there. I'm trying to reestablish. This was concave like this, so I'm trying to make it a little more convex. And so it's straight across here. It will engage the toolbox a little better. Well, this bottom will straighten up nicely once I cut this wood to form it and tack it in there. That'll straighten that up. The John Deere green. The lid is now nice and straight. This was the damaged area before. It's pretty much straightened out. I might work this roll a little more with this small sheet metal duct hammer. Use the backside of this cross beam, maybe to shape that a little tighter, a little crisper. But the roll is reestablished. I'm going to have to make some kind of a knob to go in this hole here. But the sides are now reasonably straight. Again, when I get the bottom in it, this little section here should probably straighten right out. The lid turned out very well. Again, I don't want it perfect. I still want it to retain, you know, the weathered look. The look, you know, of some industrial use or farm use. So it can't be perfect. It's got to show a little bit of wear and tear, but you get the idea what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make the box functional. So it'll close good, which it now does. So let's move on to making a new bottom for it. I'm going to trace the outline of the corners, and then take a straight edge after I take the box off of here and connect where these radius corners are tangent to each other, because the bottom of the box kind of swales in and out, you know, so I'm not going to use that for a reference. That, again, like I say, that'll tighten up, become straight once I get this bottom cut out and set in there. And of course I'll have to touch it up in the belt sander. Just finishing touches. There. Let's head over to the jigsaw. Like I got a little shaving to do here. Not much, but just a little bit. Put that on the belt sander and smooth it out a little bit. Okay, that's a nice tight fit. I will knock that back out of there, sand it down, wipe it down with mineral spirits, and then get some boiled linseed oil on it. And while that is curing, I'll get to work on the metal part of it with wire brushes, wire wheels, and all that. I think I'll pull this can holder off of here to aid in the cleanup. And oh, by the way, speaking of the can, look what I found. International Harvester Company. My pal Duke from Duke's World, when I put out the word that I was on the hunt for an oil can, he sent me a link to eBay, which showed a vendor selling the toolbox and the can, and it was pretty spendy. Well, I didn't need another toolbox. Well, it'd be nice to have, but price was awful spendy. But I mean, he's trying to help me out. That's what I appreciate. And so that got me to doing other eBay searches, and I instantly got sticker shock. $100, $200, you know. Everybody thought that these old International oil cans were gold plated. Well, then several days later, I stumbled across a vendor that had this one for under $40, or make an offer. I made an offer, it was accepted, and with shipping and tax, I was up to $40 again, or $41. It's a lot better than $100 or $200 though. And so we shipped it, and it arrived, and they shipped it with oil in it. Which amazed me, you know, because that's a no-no with U.S. postal regulations. And somehow or another, during the shipping, the box wound up upside down. So yeah, when I opened the box, guess what I found? So the can is a little extra shiny because it's coated with oil. I have some more cleanup to do. But I am thrilled. I got a authentic International Harvester oil can, thanks to a tip from Duke, from Duke's World, which got me doing additional searches. So the ensemble is now complete. The mineral spirits and the boiled linseed oil, those are estate sale finds. I don't buy my shop chemicals new very often anymore at the hardware store or the box store. I buy it at estate sales because I get it for pennies on the dollar. Nelson from IV Farms, if you're listening, you're rubbing off on me, brother. The people that run the estate sales, if they don't sell this stuff, they have to pay to have it disposed of because it's hazardous waste. So I can go in, first place I go when we go to an estate sales, I go into the garage, see what they got. You know, spray cleaners, WD-40, automotive chemicals, household chemicals, cleaners, all that stuff. I fill up a bag, and you know, I'll pay like $1 for the entire bag because they don't want to pay to have to dispose of hazardous waste. It's a win-win. Works for them, works for me. I save money, and they solve a problem, liquidating the house. Yeah, it works great. I love the smell of boiled linseed oil. Okay, we're gonna wrap part 1 up right here, video's over 15 minutes long, and I've noticed on the analytics that if I get up around 15 minutes or longer, my watch time and views go down. So I'm going to shorten this series up. I was originally going to do it all in one video, but that'd be way too long. And the video I posted that was 6 minutes long of getting the mower deck on the latest scrap acquisition and doing a test mow, I got over 1,000 views on that. So that's telling me that keep the video length a little shorter. So with that, I want to thank you for watching, and I want to thank my new subscribers that I picked up here in the last couple of weeks. Welcome. And always to my existing subscribers for sticking around. Thanks so very much. And we'll pick up here in a few days on part 2 of resurrecting this vintage antique International Harvester toolbox and oil can. And yeah, lots of fun. Love working on the old junk. Thanks for watching, everybody.